draw a ban. Immediately, 2 ninjas off the board, Akali and Shen.
Yep.
You know that Akali is definitely aimed at Voyboy. That's not a Jackie ban there.
That little change of not having to fix up the rune page for the passive that we talked about a few games ago, really bringing it back in. And Voyboy loves the aggression. Yeah. Why wouldn't he go for it? We see the TF being banned out there. As I said, Jackie playing that, and Xerath does draw the ban.
I mean, the Akali rune page switch, it just kind of opens up more options. And you always like those changes because it really helps new players. They don't want to spend a whole bunch of IP on this weird rune page that's only used for one champion.
Super specific.
Yeah, so it really makes a lot of sense. I like that one there. Then the Kale and Shinsao, both of those, we have seen those plenty of games in the LCS being banned. I mean, Kale can either go top team fight.
I think this would be the first time Team Solomid shows their mid on a first pick. Something says confidence for them, and they feel all right doing this. They're going to go ahead and give as well Jarvan away there. We saw Odd1 playing Maokai yesterday, Kobe. He didn't say he felt uncomfortable on it, but he knew he was in a defensive position going up against that Shinzao, which they've banned out this time.
Well, Reggie said, he's like, I'm either playing Xerath or Orianna. So they banned out Xerath. There we go. He picks up the Orianna.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, it's why not? Everybody already knew what was going on. Actually, interesting story. They tweeted a little earlier. TSM overheard Curse's plans last night when they were making all their strategies. So they knew the entire level 1 strategy. Yeah. And good guys TSM, they felt like they needed to make up, and they told Curse that they overheard the strategies. So Curse they didn't believe him at first, but then they were like, oh, you actually do know our exact plan. So thank you guys. TSM
That's
being
sportsmanship.
Honorable opponents. They all deserve the badges right here. They need those ribbons.
So he actually does go for the Maokai once again. He feels a little bit safer with that Shinzao out. They go for Lulu and Jarvan on the right side. So that support is out for both teams now. Actually, no, that Alistar was not locked in. So we have the Kog'Maw coming up. We'll see what supports that as they continue to pick on Curse's side.
It's an interesting pick here by Kaox choosing the Kog'Maw. He's said that TSM's strategy as a team is a little bit different than, say, teams like CLG, where CLG obviously focus a lot on double if they want.
Feed double if.
Double if to get as much farm as you can. Kaox is like, okay, we usually feed like Reggie or someone else if they are trying to carry this game, but he plays a little bit more of a utility role on his ADs, and he felt like Kog'Maw is one of those champions that's really good even if he doesn't have too much farm. He still gets a lot, and it's a give and take, but that was one of his points in the interview that we saw yesterday after the game.
It makes sense, right? Because that's how Team Solomid played the game that they were able to win that went late. You know, I'm Maokai, I'm going to be tankier. The late game is where we want it to be.
Yeah,
now they have Kog'Maw.
They spread out their money, trying to have multiple threats, whereas CLG really concentrates on double lift and want to get him just as fed as possible.
So we do see Jackie possibly hovering back around the rise.
There we go.
Cop chooses to go for the Heartbeat's first love right now.
Heartbeat is
in Tristana.
This is the Heartbeat trend right here. I mean, a lot of people did not feel Tristana was that strong of a champion. Will Cop go the extra mile and actually use Heartbeat's build, though, and get that Blade of the Ruin King? Because it's been said by a lot of these top AD players that they don't really like that item either.
Neither do some of his teammates.
Even even Heartbeat's teammates don't really like it that much. He still used it, and it worked out well for them. So maybe the North Americans are starting to open their minds and look at other options.
That item. I remember him saying that.
Yeah.
So we do see the Alistar actually locked in right after, with the Singed coming up as well for Dyrus.
That's always a fun champion to see for Dyrus because he goes back to his old roots. Like
Super
3
roots.
years ago when he first started playing this game, he would always do the last spam.
Look at the smile on his face. I think he's super trolling you right now.
He'll have fun. He's already locked it in. You can't troll. They're not doing a remake or anything.
No, I meant for Elements.
Oh, yeah, for Elements?
The pick they have set up for themselves. But as we see them just hovering, walking around, they're discussing their last pick here.
Voyboy at least would be pretty sweet. There we go.
Indeed it will. He can keep himself aggressive. And the 2v1 lane would not be too detrimental for either of these guys, Dyrus or Voyboy. That's who we're talking about with the Singed and Elise picks in those lanes.
I think the Elise is really good, especially since we've been seeing all of these 3v1 dives come out very early and people just pushing on those towers.
That's really safe.
In the disjointed lanes. Yeah. Using Repel, 2 seconds of invulnerability under a tower just helps so much. I think she's a very safe choice in that situation where everybody's really been getting dove, and you don't want to give up a kill along with that first turret.
I think it was Psycho Sid getting ganked top in that situation, and he hit 2 as Tarek's Dazzle was in the air and lifted off in the rappel. It just leaves that early game situation safety so much to be held there for Elise. So maybe on Singed, maybe the way that they have it, they'll be able to focus him down a little more. We always hear the odd ones say when they're up against the Singed, the top lane is usually, or wherever he is, the lane they focus. So we'll have to see how they take it into consideration if they're going to protect Dyrus or leave him on an island.
And it was interesting, we were just talking about how TSM usually likes to have a lot of threats on their team, but it looks like it's going to be a protected Cogman comp because Maokai doesn't add a lot of damage, Alistar doesn't add a lot of damage, and Singe, the way Dyrus builds him is usually just super tank so that he can run around, cause havoc, and take a lot of hits. So he's not going to build too heavy AP, so that's not going to be a lot of damage there. They're really going to be relying on Chaos and Reggie to do pretty much all of the damage.
Well, if Dyrus can't be takey, then he can't laugh enough, and that defeats the purpose of Dyrus playing Singe.
Dyrus definitely wants to get super tanky, and he has a teleport, so the split pushing with Singe is really strong because you can proxy very easily. He's one of the earliest champions. You can proxy with him before he's even level 6 if you have Ghosts.
Right. So we look at the matchups. We did see that, Shinzao is a little bit more aggressive, and Jarvan can do the same as well with the abilities that he can get over. But we're going to see that, it's Maokai versus Jarvan now. How's that factor in for the Odd One this time? He's obviously still have to be a little careful being Maokai.
Odd One is a huge fan of ganking middle. That's why he loves Maokai so much. He partners with Reggie just so well. They don't even have to communicate that much anymore. They just know each other's playstyles so well. And Twisted Advance is such a great early ganking tool for that mid lane, which is a lot shorter.
Right.
And usually, in the past, people didn't expect ganks mid quite as often, but coming up against Odd One, people have actually used that against him. Like we saw Crumbs kind of bait him into ganking, and then they turned it into a double kill for Skara, and everything went downhill after that.
All right, so we're going to get this one relocked back in and get Dyrus's masteries into what they need to be, because he realized these guys know down to that last point, whether it says 35 or 36, he's saying there's not a right point in my mastery, and they want to get that full advantage. Hotshot did it without runes. So I don't know,
maybe
he could have just gone hard mode.
Hotshot's a bigger man than Dyrus in this situation. Hotshot doesn't care if he doesn't have runes. They decided to go with it anyway. But yeah, every little mastery point counts because these two teams are so evenly matched. This is going to be a very close game. I'm guessing.
I tweeted right before this, and it was pretty much just acronyms. It was either flooded with Team Solomid or flooded with a bunch of curses. And these guys were ready to see him play. It's been the first time this season. I love the fact that we can still say that about some teams. After we're 4 weeks in, and we're like, these guys haven't matched up. And you kind of scratch your head, and you're like, really? Like, you guys didn't? Well, actually, that's really cool. I'm glad it happened that way. So it's really cool to have that factor here. These two teams now about to create a story for themselves for the rest of this season, and now the first time they meet since that North American Regionals, or at least in the tournament setting.
Yeah, and it's especially interesting that TSM actually told Curse that they knew about the level 1 strategy, because I really want to see how Curse handles that.
Yeah.
Because they could do a very similar strategy, just go to a little bit different of a bush. But since TSM already tipped them off that they know, will they just be completely passive, ward up all the entrances? It's kind of a mind game even telling them that you know what their early game was.
And we see all the players getting themselves ready. We can see them in the lobby there. Champion Select has come back on their screen, so they're going to go zip, zoom, fly right through that, get themselves selected back in. I'm surprised, again, we kind of saw Hecarim a little bit, and then he went back. It's players kind of like flavor of what's working for them. How aggressive do they really want to play? We saw Xmithy on it a lot, and he got banned out, so he kind of felt more comfortable switching back onto something else. It's cool to see that these guys can kind of bring it out for a few games and then put it away and not be like, no, actually, I've kind of focused on that all week, and if I don't have it, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, it's been said many times that the top teams are so versatile. They have a lot of champions to pull from. So if they feel like one of those champions has already been caught onto and they know what you're going to do when you choose him, they will not go back to that champion. I said it yesterday, but the quote by Reaper D was just so good. He said you can gain a lot from disorder in League of Legends, and so he never has his team do the same thing in multiple games of a tournament. So when people are researching them, they don't see a pattern. you have to keep changing up little things so that you don't leave a pattern for other teams to track.
Right.
Because then they can predict your moves and just destroy you, like TSM would have done if they didn't tell Curse that they knew the level 1 strategy. They'd been like, oh my god, how did TSM know to wait in this bush? They just got an ace at level 1.
Right. And even yesterday, somebody said, I don't want to name somebody because I don't want to give miscredit, but they were saying that, you know, we can train for 4 days, and we're kind of training on the fact that we're saying that person isn't going to learn a new champion. If they do, we're up creek, you know, this is going to be bad stuff. So that's what they go on. Sometimes you have to say we have 4 days. Hopefully they don't go in and just learn the crap out of this champion. Or they said, you know, we're in a bad position. And that's kind of scary, right? For as much as you can play against anything or retaliate to a change mid-game, that's something that can completely throw you off. Yeah,
and especially if 2 teams learn the same champion simultaneously. Like we saw Xerath came out from both CLG and TSM simultaneously out of nowhere pretty much. That could have disrupted their entire stream strategy. Like, they have been practicing this in kind of secret, and they thought nobody would expect it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, your opponent picks the champion that you thought was your wild card, your little hidden secret. That could definitely disrupt everybody. But, of course, everyone was paying attention to solo queue. I believe you interviewed Reggie, and he gave a shout-out.
Yep. That man Jew taking up the Xerath and making everybody play it, I guess. We'll have to see now hopping into the game. And we're going to see what Team Solomid can do versus Curse, and respectively what Curse can do versus Team Solomid, Kobe.
There's always that little give and take. I mean, we talked about before a lot, but it looks like this may just be a more defensive level 1 since all of that went down earlier in the hotel. TSM said that they weren't like eavesdropping on Curse. Curse were just really loud. When they discuss their strategies, they're yelling at each other, and they're a very intense team when they come up with strats.
Well, we heard the last strategy discussion in the Game Crib episode, so.
They're pretty intense, all right.
So we see the wards coming out here. They are going to be a few towards the top side there. Voyboy actually chills in one with himself. Oh, nope, that's his spider. I thought he had a ward with him. So no wards coming out for Curse. They're doing it again, and this is kind of what we saw CLG and others take advantage of in the beginning of the game. CLG invaded, which we didn't see them do much of, but because Curse puts up the man wall of wards, it was easy for them to get in.
Yeah, and it looks like there's not going to be too much action. We have a few defensive wards here. Maokai, even with those saplings, gets some extra free vision. And everybody's just calmly waiting for the minions to spawn.
They're saying, we had a level 1, but we're going to hang back. So wards being doubly placed there to keep each other company by the Wraiths. As we get a little bit of help for both junglers. St. Vicious start towards the red. We're going to get a, looks like, red start actually for both. No, there it is on the blue. I was going to say, where is Maokai? But they are getting it with Singed. Darius is going to return to the top lane. Looks like we do not have a swap for the lanes.
Yep, both bottom lane duos taking a camp for themselves, so they won't be too far off. And both top lanes, looks like we're going to have one of the rare 1-versus-1 matchup top lane. Voyboy versus Darius.
It is becoming quite an extinct thing to have a 1v1 matchup if it's not the mid. Well, actually, Dig is kind of killing that one too, huh? Yeah. Playing the 2v1s. One of our trends we've been seeing. Kind of fizzled out here on this one. The early pink ward coming from Curse. We've seen the early pink wards coming out before as well. I believe TSM did it to Vulcan in their first game and were able to come up with a kill due to that factor. So I'll have to see if that plays a role for them. It is placed in their defensive bush, so it wouldn't help anything right away unless they get pushed in that lane. Saint finally coming up with his blue as the odd one now starting that red.
Yeah, I like how he throws out that defensive sapling too, just to see if St. Vicious is invading, because he is known for his very early invades. As they see him with this ward coming bottom, immediately they tell though, and he knows that they saw him. So some information gained there from Curse. Well, no, never mind. Maybe he didn't learn. He's going back right on the ward.
Oh, he's maybe just trying to play the time on this one.
Now he knows for sure. Just gotta double check those.
Right, see if they make a move, what the tell is, and he definitely saw it back into his own jungle. Now this actually gives the odd one a little bit of comfort and where you know, St. Vicious is going to be that 3-minute gank. Would be the time if those 2v1 lanes were swapped that they would have been meeting down here. So both in their respective positions are going to have to figure out where it is going to happen next. So reading each other's minds is now going to come into play.
Yeah, Dyer's actually doing an early recall, wants to go buy another ward to protect him because he placed his first one so early. He was expecting Saint to start blue, go red, and then immediately gank top. But he just wanted to go refresh that. He uses his teleport already too, so that's a fairly big cooldown that's just used to get back to lane so that he can be comparable in CS, even though he went to buy that extra ward already.
So we see Nijaki placing a ward down as well, but the odd one sees the ward being placed topside, and he tries to hover the bottom for a little bit there, making sure Reginald is safe to kind of push his mid, seeing that ward top. So everybody just playing very cautious right now, Kobe. We can see them each giving each other help.
Yeah, and the other thing about Dyrus' play right there is that Voyboy saw him come back with a fresh ward, so they know that he has this ward, and Saint walked right through it.
Ooh.
They actually land the cocoon anyway.
Can he get this on here? St. Vicious looking, he flashes in for the slow, and they're trying to just connect on this one. The last in, the execute coming from Voyboy. First blood and a very patient top gank.
Ooh, even with Dyrus buying a very early level 1 ward, placing that, and then going back using his teleport for his second ward, still loses the first blood to a St. Vicious gank, walking right through the tri-bush.
Great job there, Reginald, pushing out Nijaki here. He's actually trying to stop him from backing as well. The advantages are trying to be pushed in every lane if they can gain them at this point. We're only 5 minutes in here. That first blood to Voyboy could make him very scary. He has had great play throughout the LCS so far, and is definitely one that if he gets those early kills can help to carry Curse through the game.
Yeah, I like how Odd One there doing a little bit of counter jungling, and now he wants to go help Dyrus get even in his lane. He knows that there was just a kill, but Voyboy hasn't spent his money yet, so Voyboy's items don't tell the gold lead, and they're going to try and make something happen. He still has flash though. This is definitely not going to be a kill.
They try to get that vision. He doesn't have really anywhere to repel, but they can't get to him in time anyways to make him do that.
Yeah, the best they could have hoped for was burning the flash right there, and they don't even get that. St. Vicious, though, since he gained vision of Odd One, immediately all these junglers will take advantage. They'll go invade right after they see you somewhere out of position.
Loving the wraiths, and he's actually going to take a few more. Kick the horse while it's down in the mid lane, 39 to 25 here.
For a perfect gank bottom. You can see there's no ward in the tri-bush, so he's going to come behind Kog'Maw.
He knows exactly what's going on. So it seems like Saint has grabbed an upper hand on the odd one as it kind of focused on the top lane. Kaox getting hit up there. The Glitterlands didn't fully hit, and they don't get the slow they wanted onto Kaox, but he is forced out of that engagement.
Great pulverize there by Xpecial. He got all three champions, so they burned the flash off of Kog'Maw. Still a successful gank, so he's a little bit more vulnerable now. They're going to have to place more wards in the bottom. The lane wards as well as the river wards, because Jarvan can gank you from so many angles. We always say you need to get vision on all possible entrances to your lane if you are summoner spell-less.
Saint looking to hover on the top side. No wards actually down there right now. So he could have gone in quite easily and done something on Xpecial, but knowing there is not a Kaox down bottom, Xpecial could still be flashing out of the situation, so it may be wasted time. They may wait for him to come back. Rise backing again in mid. Nijaki picking up the tier to start off against the Chalice. Great job by Reginald to stay ahead in the CS there in lane as he continues to push that down and be aggressive with some wards. They're trying to get the vision on Saint. It's like the odd one is saying, I think he's got a little too much on me. They're moving, and we need to get vision on Saint.
Well, that was another ward that was actually seen placed by Curse. They know that Reggie just put a ward there, so now Saint can actually use that and just work around it. Maybe pull a jump over that Baron Pit wall and come through the river. There's a little bit of vision open. The odd one, though, camping on that pink ward, it's actually making Lulu play pretty far back.
Just see them all patiently waiting in the bottom lane. It's so calm between both teams right now. After the few ganks we just saw, Cop gonna kind of try to walk out here. Will they draw it in? No, they're gonna put their own pink ward in, and
he gets the kill.
That's so
on
unfortunate.
The pink ward. The odd one doesn't even go for a twisted advance. He just wants to get all three hits, and that's a huge, huge gain for them, because that's a lot of vision.
There it is. They're going to try to get it
and it just wastes another pink ward for elements. So now he only had one. He's got one left there.
Yep. We'll have to see. Nijaki does. Oh, looks like Reginald went back. I was going to say roaming already, Reginald, but no. He just goes back, refreshes the flask, picks himself up a pink ward. So they're again still putting a little bit of pressure on Nijaki in mid. We haven't seen a twist in advance from Odd One, but he has been sapling throwing to keep it safer for Reginald than it usually would be. St. Vicious has been thwarted on a lot of his ganks as well. We've really seen a lot more impact from both Saint and the Odd One in previous games. So these guys are, the lanes are making it tough.
Yeah, and you can see how Odd One has adapted to the way this game is unfolding. He didn't go with the Spirit Zone. He got a Madrids of his own because he knew it was going to be a little bit more farm heavy of a game.
Yeah.
And Madrids no longer requires AD. So it's not just for those bruiser junglers. Any jungler that needs armor can use a Madrids because you just upgrade it straight from that machete with a little armor. So good pickup by him. Nice adaptation.
You see Dyrus quickly going for the Merc Tread so he can pretty much keep himself pushed in lane and get out of any of those ganks that Saint's going to be bringing top. He didn't even go back to lane with wards. So it's kind of like he buys the Merc Treads to hopefully stay safe because he only has that one ward ticking out in lane. Yeah,
Dyrus still stinging from that very early gank. Doesn't want to let it happen again. He was as cautious as he could possibly be, and he still just didn't have the time. Wasn't able to juke the Voyboy cocoon.
Just seems like without seeing much action happen from them, I'm going to keep an eye as well as we pan around the map and check out the rest of the game. 77-60 here. Reginald has been just that CS lead in mid, but they're keeping each other there, so they're not having too much of an impact on the game. But usually you would see Nijaki and Reginald just kind of be very even throughout. Not too much gold. It's 300 in the lead for Reggie, but that's going to start meaning the finish of his first item, and that's where, you know, you said in the top lane, Voyboy wasn't a threat because you bought, yet when you do, it makes a big impact if your opponent can't react.
Yeah, this is why Reggie said he was either going to play Xerath or Orianna. He's just so comfortable on her right now, and it's also why people were banning out Orianna against him earlier in the week. He's just really strong on her, and he's got that early Chalice. That enables him to lane a lot easier against Ryze. His harass, not going to be quite as effective. We see a lot of pink wards coming out here, too. It looks like they are about ready to start forcing dragon fights here. We have two junglers in the middle. This could be a 2 versus 2, but it doesn't look like Saint wants to blow his engage.
And, you know, that really helped for the Odd One right there, because the ward that St. Vicious is walking over right now was placed, showed that Wraiths weren't there. The top jungle was clear, so the Odd One knew to hover around the bottom side and wait for what was going to happen because nothing was going on with Dyrus top. That lane is pushed. He knew exactly where the gank was coming.
Yeah, and Saint's pretty okay with the way this game is going, just farming up because he did upgrade once again into that early Wriggles. There we go, finally some
the
action.
dash and the teleport coming in as well, the forward brush. Here comes Nijaki on Ryze. They lock down Chaos for their second kill, and Curse looks to keep this one going. Special throws on the ultimate, and he looks to be a bit too tanky for him to grab it. But they do lose one. St. Vicious finds himself in trouble. The flag toss, but Reginald pre-flashes it. He called exactly where Saint was going on that. Can he still get the damage down? The Sapling to run it! Oh, he gets him! Touchdown, Sapling!
Oh, amazing job. Odd One Jr. right there, taking out St. Vicious, the little sapling baby. And you're right, Reggie, he knew exactly what Saint was going to do. He just acted upon it a little too early and knocked himself up. He could have gone flash over just a little second later and he wouldn't have got that knockup, but it didn't matter because that little sapling biting at St. Vicious' ankles, able to pick that one up. And the gank bottom that Jackie just teleported on that ward, that was the last few seconds of that ward. So that gank just worked out perfectly timed, and the ward actually disappeared before they had even finished that gank.
So both mids picked themselves up an assist in the happenings of those fights. 12 minutes in here, 2-1. Only 400 gold lead there after that hullabaloo of the back and forth. 104 to 84 CS in mid, so Reginald is still finding that CS lead. However, Nijak, he teleported out on that one, so he's definitely going to get a little bit bigger of a gap going towards Reginald there. The assist, like we said, coming in. The Wriggles finished up on Jarvan, and yeah, like you said, those pink wards were up, so the dragon pressure is going to be happening soon. It's at half health right now. This is definitely a possible engager, a smite steal. The Void Ooze greatly placed there. He cataclysms in. Dyrus the last one to take damage, but it's not going to matter from Dragon. And it looks like they're able to flip Saint. He's going to go down here. after just coming back from being dead. And it looks like they continue to fight. Cop aggressively dives in. They could absolutely go back on him, but they see Voyboy repel. Curse is going in one after the other, and they haven't found a kill. Finally, they grab that one. Voyboy is still really deep in the fray here. He turns around to get another kill onto the odd one as he gets the execute back, but they're still trading kills here. Dyrus, the last one in the fight, as Curse is pushing TSM out of the Dragon area. Kobe, what a back and forth fight. 3 for 2.
TSM really wanted to use Dyrus teleport to their advantage for a dragon right there, but it ended up backfiring. Voyboy just walked all the way down. He didn't have teleport of his own, but he was able to get there just in time, and since they weren't able to burn down that dragon, they come out behind. 3 for 2 in that one.
Voyboy getting really big in this game. That first blood definitely escalated him to be the one to make these impact changes in the fights. He was able to turn around and take down the odd one before dying, grabbing another one before that. Special getting caught out. Saint now is hungry. He went down twice in a row. He's looking to make some of that golden experience back here. If he doesn't get it, I'm sure he's going to be agitated. He is going tunnel vision, full force here. The ultimate comes down. He doesn't get the kill still, and it looks like he's going to be pushed out with half health. He really wanted that.
That's really big because the dragon is still up, and they both want this objective right now. Another ward going over the wall for Reggie, and a nice shockwave.
So much damage from the dragon as well coming in here on both Nijaki and Kurt Elements. A great command shockwave. The odd one flash twisted advance in, but he's taking a lot of damage. The vengeful maelstrom to keep him alive almost. They've again split Voyboy off of the fight. This happened last time for Curse. They were able to get it. He's going to repel. He's really keeping Chaos, Reginald, Dyrus is a lot of damage in that chase fight that just happened. They have disengaged. Voyboy may finally go down in the end here, unless he can switch out Cocoon. There's the last dissonance. The flip for the kill up and down the river is what it took for that.
And the dragon is still up, so we will see them be returning to this bottom side of the map once again. Everyone you can see going back to the fountain to heal up, and every member that has a ward wants to place it around this dragon. There's so many pinks down there, so many greens.
It was absolutely amazing. Elements and Nijaki were just about to die, and Voyboy said, don't worry guys, I'll sacrifice myself. And like you said, the dragon is still up. All for that, to keep that advantage there so nobody can grab it. 700 is the gold, and it's only coming in for kills right now. Really, turrets aren't a focus. Looks like we've seen those turrets getting dropped early kind of go to the wayside here, Kobe.
Sorry, the
and
third
once again
time
to the
around,
dragon.
we don't have the Dyrus ultimate, and we don't have the shockwave quite yet for Reggie. They're burning down the dragon fairly quickly, though.
Looks like they are going to stop.
Round 3 of the dragon
They're
battles.
trying. They're just waiting this out. I'm letting them tell the story. Are they going to go in? Kobe, who's it going to be? Is it the Cocoon? Is it going to be Jarvan? What do they want first?
Curse have all of their ultimates up, so they would like this fight right now. Reggie's shockwave just came back, though, so TSM did a good job waiting on that. Right now, Kog'Maw split off from the rest of TSM, so they don't want to engage it, but next time that they come towards the dragon, oh, it looks like Voyboy's just going all the way back top right now. Doesn't want to miss up on that large amount of farm.
Well, it's been a good 3 or 4 minutes that these teams are saying, all right, we're wasting away on this. Somebody's going to start getting stronger if they're not in this engagement and farming the lane, so they go back to doing whatever it is they were doing before. And look at Dragon is littered with wards.
And there's a teleport up for Curse here. Jackie's ready to come join for another gank bottom. If they were able to gank bottom one more time and actually grab Chaos again, they could go for that dragon and finally kill it.
Well, that may have to be used in defense here as Team Solomid.
Dyer's trying to sneak
Once
here, though. They
again,
have 2 members top.
going in.
They're just going to trade that top turret. Curse has decided that it's not worth fighting over this dragon anymore. They've seen enough of it.
Yeah, it's something that you would expect these teams to finally do, and if they cannot get the turret, that's going to be pretty bad for them. Dyrus, no, he has a good 30-40 seconds on the teleport. He won't make it back to the top lane. They may aggress on the bottom as we see a ping coming in here, though. And it may be your first turret in the top if they continue to go hard on it. 6-4 here, 17 minutes in, and we may see that first one go down. Curse trying to pressure the top lane as the dragon was taken by Team Solomid. Somewhat equaled, but we're about an 800 gold lead for Curse.
You can see that TSM planned this out. They wanted to trade top for dragon and bait Curse top so they could actually get a middle turret and actually come out ahead in 1 global objective extra. Now they have 5 people bottom. They can collapse 1 more time, and Curse don't get an extra 1,000 global gold.
Now that they've dropped the mid turret, they can push this one, and they can have Dyrus do his teleport strat top. Just kind of split push it out. We're going to see actually Voyboy doing that, though. He's going to try to put some harass on this top lane, draw Dyrus back into that spot. Now, Voyboy not having the teleport, he's going to have to make sure he's in these fights before Dyrus gets to them.
Yeah, and he also needs another ward a little bit deeper in the jungle if he wants to continue pushing that lane. So we'll probably see him back right off and either buy another ward or join the rest of his team for a new push.
Looks like the bottom lane being heavily stacked here by Curse. They might want this turret as well. Odd One's here for support with Chaos. You see it's going to be Xpecial coming back all the way from base. We'll just take a quick look at the supports as well. We haven't looked at them too much. Blade of the Rune King, by the way. Oh my gosh, Dyrus, that damage coming out from the percent health, trying to get the execute on, but he was flipped away. He's not in range of it. There it is, the last Q, and he is going to go down. Voyboy takes out Dyrus in a 1v1.
Dyrus is getting beat up by Voyboy over here. It looks pretty painful, and they dive in onto the Odd One.
They do dive the Odd One. That Blade of the Rune King chunking away on him. Can they get the kill? Looks like the Lulu ultimate pops them up for enough. Sustained tankiness under the turret. Xpecial is going to be the next one to go down. The ult doesn't last forever, Kobe. And they find a few more kills to make it 9-4.
Very nice play there by Curse. And like you said, Cop actually not only taking Heartbeat's champion, but taking Heartbeat's item as well.
Yeah. That Blade of the Rune King being built out. They just like that damage, the active as well, giving you a little bit of burst, giving you a little bit of assist
Chaos
to the
going to chase this one right
Why
now.
Not? He's got a full mana bar. They have Living Artillery, Home Guard, teleport Dyrus in. He's hitting Laugh. He gets knocked up against the wall, so that was great by Cop to kind of crowd control him, but they are still going to be able to wreak havoc in this one. Cop one-on-one with Chaos right now. Cop showing the authority, and he tries to move in. Chaos calls for help from Reginald, and it looks like he jumps, flashes back out, and he may be able to make it here. One more Living Artillery. Does he have the range? It's not on full upgrade.
Oh my goodness, you know Reggie wanted to go follow that up, but it's a good thing he didn't run headfirst into Voyboy, because Voyboy is a beast right now. He could definitely 1v1 Reggie. Good job getting out of there.
Yeah, Voyboy just had a Giants bout, those boots and his haunting guys. So we went blasting one into the ability tome, and then he just completely finished that item. So the Ryla's now Voyboy. These fights are definitely going to be a lot easier for them to just stick to. They'll be able to Glitter Lance, keep them in. St. Vicious can get in and lock him down. The fight composition for Curse getting pretty scary here. We look at the other items coming in. It's like Dyrus is trying to piece together a lot here to mitigate everything that's going on. The Locket of the Iron Solari definitely going to help in that fight phase that Curse is so ready for. And we see Infinity Edge almost finished on that Kog'Maw to that Blade of the Rune King we were talking about on Trist.
Yeah, Voyboy going full carry mode right here. You can see that he's still using the same old build where he doesn't buy mana items, but since there was that nerf to Elise, he's always had mana potions on him, just for that extra regen, because his Qs cost so much more. Good job, Xpecial, not face checking that. He will lose his ward, though.
It seems like Elements has kind of changed up his build here. He's getting that Ruby Sightstone a little earlier because he's leaving out the Flask build now. He still goes for his Philo, still loves the mobility boots, but it's definitely one of the first ones we saw doing that, but he stopped.
Xpecial just dropping all his wards down. He used a green and a pink in the same tri-bush. I'm pretty sure that was the wrong hotkey. He must have had the green one on there first, but I guess he's got plenty of vision of it.
Yep, indeed.
Voyboy's all by himself, though. He's surrounded by members of TSM.
Oh, Chaos coming from the backside. He didn't even get help from his teams. He's like, guys, I went in a little too early. TSM. So they come in, try to put down the defense, but it's not going to be enough. Voyboy 3v1. What? A little help there at the end. Wild growth from Elements. Voyboy's still alive. He takes a punch from the cow, and Xpecial picks up the kill. But here we go. The cavalry comes in for both teams. It's just flowing in from the top. Are there more? Nijackie now getting popped up here. He's in the 4v1. Elements and Saint both knew it was a bad situation.
Voyboy a little too hyphy off that 3v1 kill. Wanted to come back with only 1 bar of life, and Xpecial flashes over to sock him in the face for the kill.
Great job so far. 10-8 coming in. Chaos was one to go down there. A little bit of an exchange between both teams in the bottom lane as they go ahead and just face tank this one, if you will. English is cool. As Cop face tanks one in the middle. So face tank trend coming out of game one.
World of face tanks, the new Russian MMO. Cop, though, that Blade of the Ruined King healing him pretty well, so he's almost back up to full life. He was the only one who wasn't in that bottom brawl because he had no way of getting there. He just tried to waddle down from the top lane. Not going to happen. Tristana's legs are way too short for that.
Oh, my word. So a lot of aggression here within the last few minutes. Everybody kind of setting up for that next engagement. Head around. The Oracle's picked up on elements, as that's what I was looking for. Do we have one yet on a special? He's been using all those wards, as you've been saying, Kobe. There's more being placed down. He's still got a pink, so he's not worried about that Oracle's just yet. The Infinity Edge being finished, coming through. 7,300 to 6,800. Those are your 80 carry comparisons. The tops, 7,900 for Voyboy to the 7,000 of Dyrus. But like you said,
all right,
you're not going to need all the money in the world for a Singed, and we can see that they're giving themselves a little bit more right now.
After seeing Xpecial's play, I've decided that the first two wards he placed in that tri-bush and over the wall were just sightstone wards. Since he knew he was going back after that, he wanted to make sure Voyboy wasn't still in that bush before he placed his very precious pink ward. I mean, you can throw those sightstone wards away like pieces of garbage, like he didn't even care. But the pink wards, you got to be careful with those ones.
Mid turret taking a lot of pressure. There is Dyrus. Dyrus is back at home base here.
That's a 30% chunk from a Reggie combo right there. He's doing a decent amount of damage after just the Athenes and a needlessly large rod.
And that dissonance comes out with about 370 damage, which is kind of painful. And then if you get the ball move back and forth, you're getting hit with a good 200 damage on each move. It's going to hurt quite a bit. Comp has no mitigation for that right now. Just a little bit of HP, and that is not good. We see 24 minutes. Let's see who is tanky right now. We do have the Locket, as we said, coming out for the junglers, trying to go for that Aegis on the side of St. Vicious. Looks like they're kind of
starting Baron right now. They did clear out all of the wards, and they have a Leandries. So that's a large amount of percentage damage. Can they burn it down quick enough? Elements wants to zone everyone.
Wow. He throws down Wild Growth on himself to pretty much shut down Team Solomid's engagement, and he's still alive. He took quite a hit there. He's not playing Taric either. This fight's being engaged. St. Vicious very low. The poison can take him down on a tick. It goes for Elise as well as he takes down Reginald. It's so back and forth, Cove. The Baron has been taken throughout the engagement. It looks like Cop's going to be able to clean up here if he can get the attacks off. He jumps himself away. If he can kite this one on, you can see the slow coming out on him, but it looks like he's going to be able to flash over the wall here, get himself out. A 3-for-4 engagement.
Cop actually jumped onto the pile of bodies there before Kog'Maw exploded, and so that cost him a lot of extra true damage to the face, but it didn't really hurt him. He got out anyway, was able to jump and flash away. So, decent decision right there. It's not too bad. 3 for 3, and they were able to pick up the Baron in time. So TSM, they still have one member.
So would you have called that to be the right thing for Elements to just dive himself in there and throw off Wild Growth?
Yeah, we're going to need a replay of that because it was pretty complicated. I'm pretty sure Elements only knocked up one person with his ultimate, but he had the right idea here. See, he got Odd One. That was the one he was trying to get, so he couldn't get in there and smite steal it. And they know that St. Vicious not always the best with his smite protection, and so that's why they wanted to get that one out there. But the way this fight plays out, KX, you can see walking back a lot from back and forth right there. When he finally stands and fights, he actually does way more damage. So if he had been auto-attacking a little bit more instead of that few extra steps that he took, it might have turned a little bit different. TSM, though, they feel pretty good how that one came out, even though Curse were able to pick up the Baron.
Cop super duper aggressive with Tristana. I mean, you do go jumps for kills, but he jumps in when they're like 75% health. You're definitely not getting the kill out of the jump. He's really leaving himself in the fire there.
So basically, after TSM, there was no chance for them to steal that Baron since they got the knock up on the Odd One. But after Curse has the Baron, it's a good trade to trade even at that point because you're getting 3 Baron buffs off the field. So TSM, even though they knew that they had lost the Baron, it's a fine trade for them, and they're not too unhappy right now. The gold's still not that far apart, and you only have to worry about 2 of those Baron buffs. Cop, though, is a really bad champion to have that Baron buff on. Tristana is getting very good. Very strong right now.
And this is the match that everybody wanted, Kobe. 27 minutes in, 13-12. The gold lead, minimal. Almost 300. It is 300 gold. 3-3 on turrets. Both teams neck and neck. We saw a 3-minute dragon dance attempted 3 times. The Baron finally went down. We have that coming back up probably next 5 so minutes. It's going to be a wait until that time. Not many people get to use it, as we saw that fight just go on forever. We had a replay of. We'll have to see who can really break the tilt next. Voyboy looking to be quite aggressive here. That Rylus, this is why they got it, to keep everybody in there. They get the engagement just off of that cocoon. Reginald finds himself going down here. The Cataclysm to lock everybody in. Odd One cannot get to his team to help. He is just forced to stay on Saint. And it looks like Kaox can throw out some damage here. The Rune Prison onto him. They try to lock up Cop on Tristana, and he's going to be hit up quite hard. Diving back out of this one, TSM finds a little bit of a lead here. Saint forced to back. We see him in the corner with no health. And it looks like TSM's able to chase out Curse on this.
Another, it looks like they were even going into the base here. Cop actually going to scare him off. But yes, the Rylai's a big pickup. I think the combo here from Curse was talked about way before the game started. They were planning on doing that early Baron all along. That's why they have so much percentage damage. You can see the Blade of the Ruined King plus Leandries. Most of it's coming from those two builds. As soon as they got those two items, they went for the Baron very early. A nice play by them, and they also used the percentage damage of Elise's just kit that's built into her. I really like that play, a little extra step up.
Tyrus really is just throwing things together now. Love his build.
Yeah, 2 extra Negatron cloaks to deal with all of that magic damage, the percentages. And it looks like they almost are able to upgrade into a Bulwark off that Aegis of the Legion for the Odd One. So once they complete that, it'll be reducing a lot of the output here from Voyboy.
This is a fantastic game. The gold lead is so close, and you look at the items and you see that completely, right? Like you said, Bulwark very close to being finished. Ryla's on both sides. The Rabadon's to the Rod, and a few items for the AP mids. This is absolutely what we wanted to see here. Did Tyrus just sell one of those Negatrons? No, he turned into a Banshee's Veil. I didn't see that pop. It didn't have the white pop-up ring. It's like, where'd it go? So we see a little bit of pressure here on the Dragon once again. Xpecial only took a few attacks from Voyboy, and he's already down to 75%.
Well, Voyboy's harass is best on full HP targets because Leandries does current health, and so does his Q. So his first hits are going to look really, really big. And he has to go into Spider Form to execute, but they do want to fight this Dragon. It's at half health right now. We'll see who wins the Smite Wars this time.
Saint putting himself in range to get it, and it's actually going to go to Kaox. The Smite is down for Odd One. Saint didn't get to throw his off. He's in the back of the den now, and TSM doesn't want this engage. They want to back off. They know Cop still has Baron. Great job there by TSM to grab Dragon.
They have plenty of goo to disengage right there. Both Kog'Maw and Sitch throwing it down. Curse does not want to chase through that poison. A good choice by them to back off because Dyrus also has that Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Poison going to slow you as well. Whichever team is able to kite better is actually going to win these long, drawn-out engages. And from the team fight before, I had to say, since they targeted Reggie first, he actually got off a decent shockwave. Even though you're getting the AP carry out of the game first, he's still able to get off his ultimate at least and still have had a big effect on that fight.
Well, let's take a look, like you said, at the supports earlier, since there's not going to be too much, hopefully, in the next few minutes here. We see Alistar going Locket of the Iron Solari, Boots of Lucidity. And then you have a little bit of mana regen and magic resistance with the Chalice, the Boots of Mobility. What are you going to want more in your fight? You're going to want Knockouts Pulverize on that cooldown with heal? Or you're going to want the slow, kind of turning people into cupcakes in the shield?
Well, Elements is a really, really big fan of grabbing those mobility boots on every support. He loves being engaged. He loves taking a lot of the early punishment and then backing out before he dies. This is especially on like Lulu and
we just
Terry.
saw it in that attempt, right? He threw himself in there.
Exactly. Elements is a frontline support. He's a very manly support. He likes to be in there fighting, doesn't want to be in the back just healing people. So that's really him as a player. It really fits his personality, and that's the way that he plays. Again, TSM wants to siege up. It's interesting that they don't go for the top lane over here because the outer turrets are still standing. And if you can grab that, the extra map control around Baron helps out a lot, but also the 1,000 global gold is nothing to sneeze at either. Well, 975, but plus you get that last hit on the turret. It's about as.
This is really interesting from Cop. He has completely skipped that lifesteal. Well, somewhat, right? And then he just goes for damage. Last Whisper even straight after that.
He does not completely skip the lifesteal. He first item, Blade of the Ruined King, is a ton of lifesteal.
Well, that's why I said sorta.
And the active on it is also really good. Not only does it steal speed, but it also steals life. So he's got pretty good sustain. And he could just pelt people over and over. In the end game, the Blade of the Ruined King is really nice because more damage, the higher, the more health that people are building, and you still have that active for people that dive on you. I really like the combo, and it seems like Cop agrees with Heartbeat a little bit here.
We will have to see. It doesn't seem like the junglers like it too much, but then again, when do the ADs really get help from the jungle? No, I'm just kidding.
Is that a jab at junglers in general? Come on now.
So, the wards to be cleared out. Oracles will leave for elements as well as we pop over to him real quick. Yes, he does, so they're going to be clearing out. The Baron Boogie about to begin, Kobe, and this could really put one team over the top for the next push. I don't think we're going to see full inhibitor Nexus turrets, but it's definitely going to make that map advantage factor. We're going to see a second tier turret going down, probably for TSM. Curses to get this, and maybe even an inhibitor.
Yeah, they're rushing middle right now to pressure Curse, so they have to get back and defend. The outer turret, they're going to keep on losing a few more CS up in that top lane. Nice engage.
Here it comes in. He actually goes way deep in the backside. Chaos is forced there, but he gets the protection from Reginald. Reginald goes down as he puts himself in the middle of the fight, but he gets everything off necessary. The damage onto Chaos. Cop is left alone on the outside to just throw this out. Nijackie and everyone else doing a great job of just tanking the damage, and it looks like Curse comes out big on this one. TSM running.
Yep, they're going to chase down Especial here. St. Vicious not going to give up. They do get the knock up onto Dyrus, but he has that Rylai's Crystal Scepter.
There's a pulverize, a flash over the wall into repel from Voyboy right away, getting themselves back in the advantage of this fight. He knows that Rylai is going to connect, and he pushes him over the wall. Unfortunate on that one.
Oh, good guy, Cop, giving a little booster lift to Dyrus over that wall. He says, we don't want to take you down. We feel bad. Thanks for telling us about that level 1 strategy you knew, but we're going to go grab Baron.
Home guard boots coming in for Odd One as well. Once they get back onto the map, they're going to need it because Curse is going to be right at that front door. It looks like they may try to actually go onto this. Dyrus is going to be a one-man army here. Can he do it? It looks he has the health to wreak havoc in this. He won't be able to get it. I'm surprised he didn't try and flip it. But after they can just focus him 4v1 now, he may go down here. The teleport coming in from one side. Nijackie, last hit professional.
Perfect play by Jackie right there, coming at the exact right moments with the teleport. Finishes off the kill.
Thought he was going to get away. Whoa, that's close.
Good job, Jackie. Kill very, very much secured right there. Dyrus, yeah, he made good use of those home guard boots. He tried to scare them off, but Curse were not scared at all. No. They knew they had those percentage damage builds I was talking about with the Leandries plus the Blade of the Ruined King, and Elisa's kit just burns down that Baron so quickly.
Well, it looks like Chaos is taking a page out of that as well.
Yeah, he's gone with the Cutlass at least.
Yep. Let's see what he does for himself with that. Let's take a look at the CS, which we haven't looked at too much, and with a 2,000 gold lead in the favor of Curse, kind of makes you wonder how 253 of Dyrus stacks up to 197 of Voyboy, or 239 of Reginald stacks up to 186. That's absolutely crazy. It's really the kills that have started to come in for Curse that are just escalating that gold lead.
Well, I talked about at the beginning where the two main damage dealers for TSM are Chaos and Reggie. Like, that's where all of their power is concentrated. Where they just said in that interview they usually like to spread it out. They really concentrated it this game, and Curse noticed that they're focusing Reggie first, and as soon as they get him down, they immediately go on Chaos, and after that, there's really not much left from TSM to be scared of, and they just chase down everyone.
So Cop using his ultimate there. Let's see if he gets himself in a sticky situation of this next fight. Again, face tanking the turret. They put the shield on him. It's going to be enough to take it down. They have eyes on the inhibitor turret now. This is the one that becomes more dangerous. That crowd control of Team Solomid can just knock them into a funneled position. Curse would not be able to help themselves. But where are they? They're kind of on the backside here. Everybody was either buying or getting back from the lanes. They lost a turret with no contest.
Saint's going to go in now.
Wow, Saint going to the back line. Once again, he finds Chaos. The shockwave goes sombrero style and doesn't get any damage out. Especial running out with the red buff on. They tried to put a lot of damage onto him, but wasn't too much. They back off. They know to play cautious now. They're not going to put themselves in a scary position.
Yeah, this is textbook Curse. They don't want to dive anymore. They have been really, really careful with their play in the LCS lately, and they feel that they know that they have the huge advantage right now that they just got, and they want to go spend all that money. They'll come back, just pillage the rest of the jungle, easy red buff steal and easy dragon right here, and then they can return at a later date. There's not much that TSM can do with that time to change the outcome of the fight.
So it comes down to it now. We're getting to the late game, Kobe. Does TSM have the option to wait this one out? They're not against the same team they were last time. There's different factors in the scaling with what Curse is bringing to the table. Can they still wait this one out?
that is really their only option right now. They have to wait it out. They have a Kog'Maw, so that's great.
True.
And like you said, he went for that Blade of the Ruined King as well, getting it as a fourth item instead of the first item. But it is going to help him out a lot because it does do that max HP damage for the late game. It's just, it doesn't look like they have the necessary engage. We saw the shockwave missing there. If that shockwave misses, that is a huge amount of CC and damage for their team. Since Reggie was built as one of actually the second main damage dealer, that's a huge spell, and if they miss that, then the team fight is pretty much lost unless Curse make a similar mistake and miss a lot of their spells.
Another trend coming in, first game of the day being the longest here. These teams completely battling it out. A nail-biting 40-minute match between Curse and TSM as they meet in the first time of the LCS here. And they are definitely putting it all out on the Summoner's Rift. Nothing to chance, but everything to gain from these teams on this win. You can see that Banshee's Veil from Dyrus. He's trying to just kind of waste a spell here, see if they can find an advantage, get something out of Voyboy and flip him in. Cost the repel, get them off this turret. Like you said, it's waiting for them now.
Dyrus did go that full tank build that we talked about. Pretty much only damage coming from his Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and it's not really annoying Curse as much as it needs to because they have that upgraded Bulwark. They've got a decent amount of magic resist on a lot of people. Kopp is level 18 now, so he's at the maximum range for Tristana, over 700.
The top lane getting destroyed as well. Minions doing work for Curse right now, and they have no worries about this push. Middle lane is all the way up to the inhibitor turret too. They have every lane super push.
All they really have to do is be patient and wait right here. They're forcing TSM to do this engage.
Oh my gosh, a perfect amount of crowd control, and no, you're not going to do that coming from Curse. They almost had it, right? Voyboy was right there. They were going to get the flip and try to deter the pressure, but they had everything set in motion to stop that from happening, and Voyboy, Dyrus rather, couldn't even move. Damage coming in on Saint. You can just see, even without a bunch of armor pennies, still rocking down the damage. Chaos trying to get the damage in as well. Saint Vicious going very low as he's taking the turret. The damage to Kopp. He gets hit by Living Artillery, pushed out of the fight as Saint goes down here. TSM looking very good as Voyboy is forced into the base. They give him nowhere to run. Could be forced to flash here, and TSM is able to stave off the aggression.
Okay, so at least they got one kill right there, but they did lose their top turret just to minions. As you said, all lanes were pushing in at the beginning of that fight. So we've shown there's a little bit of hope for TSM. They have an endgame Kog'Maw.
Yeah. That he like we said, and I mentioned in the beginning as it just went crazy, he doesn't have that armor pen yet, and he just rocked down Saint, Locket. He has Wriggles, he has the Bulwark for his team. They are going full stack now. These guys are coming to full build, and that's scary. If he is able to grab that last Whisper from a few bounties he grabs in the next few minutes, it's going to be that 1-2-3 shot Kog'Maw.
So after that check right there, Curse are definitely thinking we need to secure our map control at this point. We opened up their base, we cracked that sucker like an egg. Now we need to pick up an Oracles and ward around Baron once more because there's only 30 seconds, 35 seconds left on it. And if they're able to secure another Baron, then they can come in fresh with that Baron buff. There's only one outer turret left. They can even force a free fight without taking any damage at one of these exposed inhibitors if they want. The next 40 seconds to 50 seconds are really going to tell the end of this game right here because Baron's up and they have so much percentage damage. Curse can annihilate that thing. They can kill him in probably 7 seconds.
So we see a lot of items coming in here that haven't been on the champions we've seen. We have that Golem Stone, or Spirit of the Ancient Golem, coming out on Voyboy for the Elise top, the Captain's Boots, as these guys are really trying to give themselves that advantage going on to Saint Vicious. We've seen the Seraph Embrace come out a few times, as well as the Mikhail's Crucible, which isn't in this one.
Two-man percentage damage
look at the
kills
damage
Baron.
they're absolutely able to do. Completely crushing it down. TSM did not have a chance to even see the light of day on that one, but they are going to be able to go in the fight on the aggression. Chaos completely locked down. He did get hit up with the Rune Prison and all the damage. They took out the one they needed. Can they follow up? Curse looking very good this fight. The ultimate from Lulu knocking up a lot, actually just special, but there's the crowd control coming from him. He was able to get himself back in. It's not looking good, Kobe. The odd one's the only one running.
It's not looking good at all, but the odd one does escape through the back there. He's just going to save a little bit for his KDA, and it looks like Curse are going to take an inhibitor, rush straight onto those Nexus turrets. You can see how much this endgame Tristana was doing right there. St. Vicious and Voyboy dived right onto Kog'Maw and were murdering him in the back, while Cop was pelting the front line of TSM.
And
they just killed everyone at the same time right there.
And there we have it. The Nexus going to go down 42 minutes into this one as we have a long game, and Curse takes it over Team Solomid.
Very impressive win right there. Well executed in the end game. They knew exactly what steps to take. They got there for the Baron, and that double percentage damage builds from the AD carry and top lane, I have to say.
Yeah, it seemed, not that it affected the game too much, it just made me think of it because we were looking at Dyrus, but we saw him, you know, always piecing the build together and not having an item that would be core for him. It works on Singed more than most because you just want to run around there anyways. It's not like you're going to impact a ton of damage into the fight. But those things were kind of happening all along the way. Then the Baron started going in favor. TSM came out of that Baron the first time pretty much